Deshpande. I am marketing manager at Fooditude. We have Georgie Chala, the business development manager at OLIO, and Alison Hester-Lloyd, our Fooditude's head of operations. We're going to be talking today about how Fooditude uses OLIO to help prevent some of the food at our client sites from going to waste. So let's start with an introduction from Alison.
Okay, great. Yes, as what you said, I'm Alison. I'm the head of operations. So my role really is looking after all the client sites and all the staff on site at each of our sites, which are in central London. And just looking after all the operations that happens there and our client relationships on that side of things.
Great. Georgie, would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself and OLIO as well, please?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Georgie and I'm Business Development Manager at OLIO. So I work specifically on OLIO's Food Waste Hero program, bringing more food businesses on board donating their surplus food. So to give a bit more introduction about what OLIO is and what we're about, OLIO is a neighbour-to-neighbour food sharing app enabling people to share surplus food from their homes with their neighbours in their local community. So with the aim of reducing food waste at home. And then we also have, in addition to that, our Food Waste Hero program, where we link up trained volunteers with local businesses to rescue and collect and redistribute surplus food, which all gets redistributed through our app to people in the local community. And we're working with a really wide range of food businesses on this, so from contract caterers such as Fooditude, but also high street retailers like Pret, and most recently Tesco supermarket. So there's a wide range of food available on the OLIO app.
And just a question about the app itself. Is this, when you rescue this food, is this just redistributed, or is there a commercial transaction of any sort that happens?
Yes, so when the food gets rescued, it gets put onto the OLIO app and all food is shared for free. So we're not selling the food on. It's made available to people to request for free, which is the great thing. So people can download the app for free. They can either post food from their home or they can request food from a Food Waste Hero, and there's no monetary transaction involved. So it's really just made available for anyone in the community to be able to access.
That's excellent. I think also because one of the reasons why we wanted to talk to you guys and understand a little bit more about OLIO and the Food Waste Heroes program is because of the upcoming Food Waste Action Week. I think this is a great opportunity for people to download your app and let any food from their cupboards not go to waste and go somewhere where it will be loved and used up. So thanks so much for sharing that. Alison, how does Fooditude work with OLIO? If you'd like to share a little bit about how you make it all happen.
Okay, sure. I guess just to sort of give a small background about Fooditude and what we do as well, just sort of puts everything into context as well. So Fooditude, as Swati says, we're a contract caterer, but we have the delivered in model. So, you know, we deliver in a cold and hot selection of food for breakfast, lunch and dinner into our clients' sites. I work closely with our clients with sort of confirming numbers at least sort of 48 hours in advance. And even before COVID, you know, understanding the workflow and understanding how many people are going to be in the office for that day has always been a challenge. So no, there are days that we would run out of food, or there are days that, you know, we would have too much food. And it's the only disadvantage of not having a kitchen on site. You can't scale up as it gets busier. You have to predict those numbers ahead of time. And so that's sort of where OLIO comes into play, is that, you know, on most of our clients, they offer this as a free benefit to their staff, and therefore they don't want to be running out of food, because this is a great incentive for people to come into the office. And so therefore, you know, they'd like to make sure that there's food there for everybody, and that unfortunately leads to a bit of wastage at the end of the day. And so we link up with OLIO and we get a food waste hero volunteer that comes in at the end of each lunch service and collects that surplus food, whether that's hot or cold, and then they take it back to their local community, as Georgie was saying, and then they put it onto the app and share it with their local community. So, from my side of things, I think it's great on many aspects. It's not just about saving the food waste. It's also about, connecting people to their local communities as well, and building those relationships there.
But how would you say typically convince your clients to sign up, first of all? What's the process involved? And did you ever come across any objections from them?
What we do now is it's really part of our USP as well. Is we are a very sustainable company, and we really push the sustainability side of our business. And putting and OLIO is one of those areas that we can really use to support that ethos. And trying to convince our clients is normally not really that difficult. It's normally putting it in front of them and saying, we can provide this service for you, and you don't really have to do anything. The relationship is between ourselves and OLIO. We sign a contract together, taking that sort of liability away from them as well. And most of our clients' time is a big thing. They just want to be able to obviously not have that food waste, but they also don't really have the time to be able to deal with it. So us taking that time away from them and being able to provide that service for them, I think is really quite a key selling point to them. And also, we use OLIO. One of the good things that they do is at the end of each month, they provide us with a sort of one-pager PDF that sort of highlights exactly, how many meals were served and what that impact on the environment is. And that's a great little tool that they can use and they can promote in their company. For instance, since our relationship began, we saved 4,632 portions of food, and that equates to 3,995 CO2 emissions, avoided. 623,000 litres of water have been saved, and also wonderfully, 632 local families have benefited from that service, So yeah, I think that's a great little USP for our clients to use as well.
Oh, fantastic. I think the impact on the families is a very useful stat, I think, to know, because also it can tie in, like you said, very beautifully with the CSR initiatives of all the client companies. So I guess one of the nice things to do in that instance, if other catering companies are thinking about implementing OLIO, is to really speak to the clients and maybe press on how it will impact their own CSR agenda, and build links in the local communities. I guess that would be one of the best ways to get buy-in from the company, because is there any cost associated with using the Food Waste Heroes program? Or is that also just like the app? Does it come without any commercials? Maybe that's a question for Georgie, actually.
Yes, so there is, for the Food Waste Hero program, we charge a collection fee for businesses. And like Alison mentioned, involved in that fee is not only our management of the collection, so making sure that the food is redistributed safely and in line with our food safety policies, but also that monthly impact reporting. And I think that's really where the clients see the value, because like you said, they have CSR targets which they want to meet. And for OLIO, that ticks both boxes. So you've got both the community element benefiting people, and also the environmental element, so the huge impact of food waste and the environmental offset of that. We can provide those statistics in our monthly reporting, showing them how their food waste is having a positive impact on the environment and also on the local community.
Excellent. And this brings me to another question that you sort of alluded to just now, but catering companies or client companies often think that it could end up being a health and safety nightmare in terms of redistribution of the food. How do you assuage those doubts? How do you actually make it all happen in a safe manner for clients
Yeah, so
and for the end users who end up getting all this food?
Yeah, that is very much the food business's number one concern, and rightly so. They're concerned about the liability of the food and the safety of the food once it leaves their premises. So that means it's our number one priority as well to make sure that food is redistributed safely. And what we've done is created a full food safety management system with input from the Food Standards Agency to inform how we can safely collect all types of food, so not just chilled food, but hot, frozen, and short shelf life food as well. So part of that food safety management system is a robust training of our volunteers, our food waste heroes. So they have to have 100% score pass on our online training tests as a prerequisite to becoming a food waste hero, which ensures that they fully know how to safely collect and redistribute that food. And then the benefit of all the food being redistributed over the app is that we can track and trace how that food is shared, so we can make sure that the food is shared safely and in line with our guidelines, because we can see all of the data of when that food was shared and with who and how. So that essentially informs our food safety management system.
Excellent. Alison, how do you see this relationship grow going forward with OLIO and with similar organizations?
Well, yeah, I mean, just before lockdown, I think we were making some really good headway with sort of getting more and more clients on board and signed up to this. I think over the last few years, I think food waste has sort of been brought forward onto people's agendas, and it is part of a lot of companies' sort of, CSR agenda, and even now with everybody working from home for such a long time, I think food waste is still pretty, very much up on the agenda there, because, a lot of our food waste does happen at home. And, I think it's such a great program to be involved in. And I think, it'll just go from strength to strength, to be honest. And, as we return back into the offices in London over the next few months, I think, we will, as we have a big, good partnership at the moment, I think, having that on the agenda as part of an opening agreement or an opening, suggestion, so that, it is there right from the beginning. And I think, we sort of use it as, you said we were just putting together some, tendering for new business. We now include that as part of our tender process, because we want to encourage people to use it. We want to be able to reduce our food waste and be a big part of that story.
Great. And Georgie, what are OLIO's plans for this program? Are you still just operating in London? Do you operate Food Waste Heroes in other cities across the UK or worldwide?
Yes, so our Food Waste Hero program has actually grown really rapidly over the past 12 months, and we're by no means just London-based. So we do have a network of over 13,000 Food Waste Heroes nationwide across the UK, who collect on average 500,000 portions of food a week. So they rescue all of that food and redistribute it to their local communities. So yeah, we're very much nationwide. And over COVID, we've had to kind of find new business partnerships as the contract catering side of things has slowed down. So we hope that when there is a big return to offices, as I'm sure Fooditude are also expecting, that we can continue those partnerships with contract caterers and continue to rescue food from catered offices. But we also want to expand partnerships with more businesses, so also in the retail side. I mentioned our recent partnership with Tesco. We're starting to work more with retailers, and we would hope to do more of that as businesses look to build back better after COVID.
Excellent. Well, thank you both very much. We're really hopeful for people to get more aware about their impact in terms of how they can reduce food waste in their own lives, and if at all they do end up having food waste, to use apps like OLIO to try and find it a better home rather than it ending up in the bin. Hopefully, Food Waste Action Week will help us come up with more and more ideas in terms of how we can reduce food waste in our own homes and businesses. And thank you both for your time in sharing all your excellent work in this regards. Thanks so much.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you.